There's a new fix for one of the DualSense's biggest problems. Sony's got a huge sale going on right now, more PC ports are coming, and we've got some leaks from the next state of play. One of the best things Sony's been doing with the PlayStation 5, specifically on the PlayStation Store lately, is having awesome sales that give huge discounts on really good games. The summer sale is going on right now, and they've discounted games all the way up to like 70% off, which is insane. I dug through some of the games that are on sale right now, and I figured I'd let you know which ones are worth picking up, starting with Demon's Souls, which is on sale right now for $50. Now this is actually, I'm 99% sure, the cheapest this game has gotten because it's a PS5 launch title. I feel like it's definitely worth picking up for $50 because like a month ago I said it was worth picking up for $60. So now you're getting $10 off of what I last time said it was worth picking up for. Another awesome game you should definitely pick up is Returnal, which is also $50. That is a really good deal on this game. It launched a little rough, but they've patched it so many times since it came out, and now it's the best it's ever been. So if you slept on Returnal and you're looking for a new PS5 exclusive to play after Ratchet & Clank, this is one I highly recommend. If you're more into RPGs though, I definitely suggest checking out the Mass Effect Legendary Collection. Now, I know it's EA, right? You look at this collection and you're like, where are the microtransactions? What's wrong with it? But I bought this on launch and it's actually just a really good remaster of Mass Effect, Mass Effect 2, and Mass Effect 3. You get all the DLC from all of those games except for one piece of DLC for Mass Effect 1 because they lost the source files for it. They like literally would have to rebuild it from the ground up, and it's not even just a remake at that point. It's just like recreating DLC. So I'm gonna give them a pass there. The only other thing you're missing is the Mass Effect 3 multiplayer. So for $44, you can get 3 full Mass Effect games with like 99% of their DLC. I think that is a pretty good deal. I know movies based on video games are like 99% bad, but the Mortal Kombat movie was actually pretty good, and it got me to check out Mortal Kombat 11, which is on sale right now for $23. You can get the Ultimate Edition for a little bit more, and you can get an even bigger Ultimate Edition for a little bit more than that. But if you've never played a Mortal Kombat game and you're just looking for a fun fighting game to sink your weekend into, I think that is definitely worth picking up for $20. It's a really cool game. Since game releases have been a little bit light this year, I've been digging into Destiny 2 harder than I've ever dug into this game before, and now it's one of my all-time favorite games. And right now you can get the entire collection of everything you need to do literally everything in Destiny for just $40. So you get Destiny 2, you get the Forsaken expansion, you get the Shadowkeep expansion, you get Beyond Light. There's so much stuff to do in this game, and it's all a ton of fun. The seasonal system is great. It felt like they were just kind of ripping off Fortnite when they started it, but the events they've been adding every season have been so much fun. I've been just grinding the hell out of Override lately. So if you're looking for a first-person shooter that plays better than 99% of the first-person shooters on the market, you can play with your friends and have a ton of fun, just get Destiny 2. Buy it. It's $40. That is nothing. Also, it got a really good PS5 upgrade. It runs at 4K 60 frames per second, and you got to do some crazy shit to get this game to drop any frames. Like, it looks awesome, which is insane because it came out in 2017. Just highlighting more PS5 games, Spider-Man Miles Morales, which I think is possibly, or actually, I'm gonna say it's the best PS5 game. That one's on sale for $35. Metro Exodus Enhanced Edition is like a really good option for PS5. That's on sale for $15 right now. That has ray tracing support. It runs a lot better than it did on PS4. It looks amazing. It's a scary game, and even though it's the third game in the Metro series, it's kind of like a standalone thing. So if you've never played Metro Exodus, I highly recommend getting that one. I'm sure you guys have noticed that I took a break from the horror shirts for this awesome new PlayStation inspired one, and I think it's very cool. So if you'd like to get your own, it's on the little shelf down below this video. We've got t-shirts, we've got stickers, we've got a print like on a canvas of this awesome design we had custom made for the PSReady channel. So if you like the design, let me know in the comments, maybe pick up a shirt. I don't know, I'm not gonna tell you what to do. I'm not your dad. Going into this generation, things were as different as they've ever been between Xbox and PlayStation, and the biggest difference seemed to be that Xbox was definitely going for a quantity approach while PlayStation is going for a quality one, and now we've had that confirmed by Jim Ryan. I feel like Jim Ryan can't catch a break lately because people are like picking out very small segments from entire paragraphs of things he said, but this time I feel like it's all positive. He was doing an interview talking about the strategy that PlayStation has going forward. So basically what he's doing is he's teaming up with Herman Hulst, the guy who runs all the PlayStation studios, and their strategy is to give creativity and openness and like a sense of fun to these developers to let them make exactly what they want. They're just feeding them money to make sure that they're making the best games and not putting out a ton of mediocre ones. And when you look at the stuff that they've been putting out, I mean, it just makes sense. We get Days Gone, which launched a little rough, but then it got better over time. Horizon Zero Dawn was incredible. Ghost of Tsushima is one of the coolest games I think anyone's played in a long time, related to the Assassin's Creed type archetype, where Assassin's Creed is turned into a clone of The Witcher, and then Sony turned around and made the Japanese Assassin's Creed everyone wanted for years. I know The Last of Us Part 2 had some weird story beats that kind of pissed people off, but from like a quality standpoint, I don't think there's a better made game that exists. I don't think out of the like 20 to 30 hours that game takes, I never had a single bug. I never had a frame drop. It ran great. It looked great. I actually preferred the story of 2 to the first one. The first one kind of just felt like sort of a weird ripoff of The Road, but this did something wholly original. So even though some character stuff that happened kind of made me sad and upset, it was cool to see, and it was like just better than what you get on Xbox, objectively, I think. And then they remade Demon's Souls so well that it basically felt effortless. Like, it felt like what I remember Demon's Souls feeling like on the PS3 in my memory, which if you go back and play games that are that old, it always ruins the memory. Because, you know, games age weird, right? You remember them being one way, and then you go back and play them with all of the context of playing newer games as the years went on, and they just don't play the same. But Demon's Souls, that was a near flawless remake in my opinion. And then most recently they put out Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, which blew everyone away. I saw so many reviews calling that a Pixar-like movie experience in a game, and I kind of disagree with that a little bit. I don't think it's that good, but the fact that it's close enough where reviewers were calling it that is crazy. And yeah, Microsoft did have a really good E3 where they announced a ton of games that are coming in 2022 and 2023, but until we actually get to play those games, I don't want to sit here and be like, yeah, Microsoft is killing Sony, because Sony's the one releasing next-gen games. Microsoft's had some good ones. They've had some cool third-party deals like Outriders being on Game Pass, and of course MLB The Show being on Game Pass, but when you look at next-gen output, Sony has done a much better job so far of having great first-party games that look and play amazing on the PS5, and I feel like that's why people are buying so many PS5s, and that's why the PS5 is scalping for like $1,000, and you can basically get an Xbox Series X at retail if you look hard enough. And speaking of smart strategies, we have some updates on more PlayStation games coming to PC. So the next one everyone was kind of crossing their fingers for based on a ton of leaks from reputable sources was Bloodborne, but now a new leaker is saying that he knows a bunch of games that are coming to PC, and unfortunately Bloodborne is not one of them. And I'm not going to believe him just yet, because last time we talked about it, the source we had that basically said here's what the updates to Bloodborne are going to be actually seemed spot on, and it seemed totally realistic. And we have heard Bloodborne's coming to PC so many times that I'm just going to cross my fingers and hold out hope. But we also know now that Uncharted 4 is definitely coming to PC. Now, there was an internal slideshow that was shown to Sony executives that leaked out during like an investor call, and it had their little slide that said PC games are going great. We made 250% return on investment on Horizon, and we're working on other games like Uncharted 4. So that one's basically confirmed. I also definitely think Ghost of Tsushima will come to PC at some point. That's one of Sony's biggest new IPs alongside Horizon. I feel like it kind of caught them by surprise, because when Ghost of Tsushima came out, I don't know if you guys remember this, it was impossible to find discs of that game. Like, they would send out 2 or 3 discs to each Target or Walmart or GameStop or anywhere like that, and then people wanted it so bad they were like, oh crap, we got to make even more discs. We're getting the PS5 upgrade, which is like $30. I think they're doing some really cool stuff with Ghost of Tsushima, so if they want to expand that IP to get people really into it for when they release the movie in a few years, putting it on PC is the smartest way to go. These rumors and leaks surrounding a big state of play featuring more gameplay from Horizon and new gameplay from God of War 2 just don't stop, but the newest update we're getting is that the next state of play is also going to have an update on Hogwarts Legacy. So this game was announced during the big game showcase that the PS5 had last year in June, and then it went quiet after it was delayed, but I feel like we're definitely approaching a release of it, and I'm actually very excited for it. I grew up in Harry Potter. I know Harry Potter is like super chuggy and people don't like it as much who are younger, but people in my generation, I feel old now, really like Harry Potter, and the idea of being able to make your own character and live a Hogwarts life is something that everyone's always wanted. There actually have been some good Harry Potter games. I remember the one for the last movie was pretty decent because it was like a third-person shooter, but an open world RPG set in Hogwarts is like 10 million times better in my opinion. The reason people are expecting this to show up at a state of play is A, because it was already shown at a Sony event, and B, it's coming out in 2022 and we haven't heard anything about it. So if there is some partnership between Warner Brothers and PlayStation on this one, a state of play is the place you'd hear about it. I mean, Harry Potter is a huge IP. And then the reason people think the state of play is showing up in August is that the leaker who told us we would get a state of of play in July, but that we wouldn't see any God of War gameplay at it. Also said we would get one in August where we would see God of War gameplay. That's really confusing, but this leaker is trustworthy. He said things that were right about the July one, and now he's saying things that could come true about the August one. So if we have this August state of play, right, and we've got updates on Horizon Forbidden West, which is hopefully coming out at the end of this year, then we've got updates on God of War Ragnarok, which is hopefully coming out in like April next year, and we've got updates on Hogwarts Legacy, which should be out sometime probably in the back half of next year. That's how you set up a huge slate of awesome games for the PS5 that most importantly, you probably can't play on Xbox. I'm not sure if Hogwarts Legacy is an exclusive, but that's one that Sony should definitely throw money at if it's not. I just checked and it's not exclusive, but I feel like it should be because PlayStation people and Harry Potter people go hand in hand. And you know, Xbox is partnering with Disney on Sea of Thieves with the Jack Sparrow update. So, you know, Sony could hit them back and be like, we got the exclusive Harry Potter game. Like, that would be pretty cool. At this point, it's July, and I feel like the rest of this year is kind of a wash for big game releases from other companies. So if Sony can swoop in and just give us Horizon Forbidden West to close out the year, I'm gonna be so happy. I'm really excited for that game. I recently went back and played a ton more of Horizon Zero Dawn. I feel like that game doesn't get enough credit just because it came out a month before Breath of the Wild, but if you go back and play it now, which you should be able to because it was free for an entire month, and I definitely told you that in a video, you'll probably see that it's an awesome game that's still farther ahead than a lot of other open world games. Like even Ghost of Tsushima is a little less full-featured than Horizon Zero Dawn, and that's kind of crazy. One of the biggest issues plaguing the video game industry lately is stick drift. Now, Nintendo is catching a ton of flack for this because it's been going on since the Nintendo Switch came out, and they've never really responded to it. They've never really done anything about it. When they released the Switch Lite, they used the same joysticks in that console that has, you know, permanently placed joysticks because you can't remove the Joy-Cons on that bad boy, and that had stick drift as well, which is really bad. And now, the Switch OLED, everyone's asking like, hey, are you gonna use new Joy-Cons for that don't have stick drift? And from the looks of it, we're just getting white versions of the same Joy-Cons that we have now that also have stick drift. And the biggest problem with that is that the DualSense also uses very similar joysticks in its design that give off stick drift vibes. People think stick drift is coming to that device, and some people have already gotten it, which is kind of scary because that console is not even a year old yet. But the crazy thing is, a YouTuber found a very extremely simple, like surprisingly simple fix that works with Joy-Cons that kind of seems like it could also work with the DualSense. So basically what VK's channel was able to find is that if you take off the top of your Joy-Con, there's like a silver square right in about the center of it, and if you put a piece of cardboard that's the same size as this silver square on it, it puts pressure on the bottom of the buttons and also the joystick, and that eliminates stick drift. Now iFixit took a look at this fix and they said, yeah, it actually does fix a lot of the issue, and if you combine that with the dead zone remapping that the Nintendo Switch has baked in, it'll get you 99% of the way there. But really, the only true way to fix Joy-Con drift is to send in your Joy-Con to Nintendo. So I feel like if your option is lose one of your controllers that you need to play games, and I don't think people have a lot of Joy-Cons laying around because those bad boys are like 80 bucks, or you can just do this little cardboard fix on your thing, do the cardboard fix. I mean, what's the worst that can happen? You can like lose a screw, or it doesn't actually fix the controller, and then all you have to do is retake it apart, take the cardboard out, and then you can send it in. Because I feel like 99% of the way there is more than good enough. So if you put a long piece of cardboard between the motherboard and the joysticks, I feel like it could probably do the same thing. Now, the DualSense is also very expensive. I think it runs somewhere between like $65 and $70, so I'm definitely not going to be taking mine apart anytime soon. But if you guys have stick drift, this might be something to try. Like put some pressure underneath the sticks and that could fix it. So yeah, if you've got stick drift, you might want to try this out. Make sure you let me know down in the comments if you do have stick drift, because it's only been like 7 or 8 months. So I'd really be curious to hear how many people actually have it. Also, let me know what you think of all these other news stories down in the comments as well. And remember, if you want to stay PS ready, subscribe and set your notifications to all. As always, guys, my name is Jimmy Champagne, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.